Anna of Bohemia and Hungary, sometimes known as Anna Jagiellonian, was Queen of Germany, Bohemia, and Hungary and Archduchess of Austria as the wife of King Ferdinand I. Anne of Bohemia and Hungary, 1503 to 1547, was a Jagiellonian princess who became a key link between the kingdoms of Bohemia and Hungary and the rising Habsburg dynasty. Who she was. Born, the 23rd of July, 1503. Died, the 27th of January, 1547. Parents, Vladislaus II, King of Bohemia and Hungary, and Anne of Foy-Candale. Dynasty, Jagiellon. Why she mattered. Anne's marriage helped transfer claims to Bohemia and Hungary to the Habsburgs. This became crucial after the death of her brother Louis II, killed in 1526 at the Battle of Mohacs, which opened the way for Habsburg rule in Central Europe. Marriage and role. Married, 1521 Ferdinand of Habsburg, later Ferdinand I, Holy Roman Emperor. Through Anne, Ferdinand had a strong dynastic claim in Bohemia and Hungary, and after 1526, he was elected recognized as king in those realms, though Hungary remained contested, especially due to the Ottoman advance and rival claimants. Children and legacy. Anne and Ferdinand had a large family, more than a dozen children. Several shaped European politics, including Maximilian II, Holy Roman Emperor. Anna of Austria, who married Duke Albrecht V of Bavaria. Other daughters who married into major German and Italian ruling houses. Her children helped the Habsburgs build a network of alliances across Europe. Historical context in one line. Anne lived at the turning point when Bohemia and parts of Hungary shifted toward long-term Habsburg control, while the Ottoman Empire expanded into Central Europe. If you tell me whether you want a short school-style paragraph or a more detailed timeline, I'll format it that way.
Edward V, 1470 to 1483, was King of England in 1483, but he never had a coronation and ruled only briefly before disappearing. He is one of the most famous figures of the Wars of the Roses. Quick facts. Born, the 2nd of November, 1470. Died, 1483, exact date unknown. Parents, Edward IV, York is king, and Elizabeth Woodville. House, York. Why is historically important? Edward V became king at age 12 when his father Edward IV died, April 1483. His uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, was named Lord Protector to govern during Edward's minority. Edward V and his younger brother Richard, Duke of York, were taken to the Tower of London, officially for safekeeping before the coronation. Richard of Gloucester claimed Edward V was not a legitimate heir, arguing Edward IV's marriage was invalid, and took the throne as Richard III in June 1483. The Princes in the Tower. After mid-1483, Edward V and his brother were no longer seen. They became known as the Princes in the Tower. Most historians believe they died in 1483, but who was responsible remains debated, often associated with Richard III, but not proven beyond doubt. Legacy. Edward V's disappearance helped fuel mistrust and conflict, and is part of the chain of events that led to the fall of Richard III and the rise of the Tudors, Henry VII in 1485.
Imperial noble consort Qinggong, 1724 to 1774, was a high-ranking consort of the Qianlong Emperor in China's Qing dynasty, remembered especially for helping raise the future Jiaqing Emperor. Quick facts. Born, the 12th of August, 1724. Died, the 21st of August, 1774, Forbidden City. Clan, Han Chinese, bordered yellow banner. Burial, Yu Mausoleum, Eastern Qing tombs. Life and significance. Her personal given name is not recorded in surviving sources. She rose through the harem ranks during Qianlong's reign, notably promoted from lower consort titles up to noble consort during her lifetime. She had no biological children, but is historically important because she raised Prince Yongyang, who later became the Jiaqing Emperor, one reason she remained influential and honored. Name a title note. Her posthumous style is commonly given as Imperial Noble Consort Qinggong.
Charles XII of Sweden, 1682 to 1718, often called Carolus Rex, was King of Sweden, 1697 to 1718, and one of Europe's most famous warrior kings, best known for leading Sweden during the Great Northern War, 1700 to 1721. Quick facts. Born the 17th of June, 1682, Stockholm. Became king, 1697, as a teenager. Died the 30th of November, 1718 at Frederiksskjold or Fredriksen in Norway, shot during the siege. Exact circumstances debated. Why is historically important? Early military success. Charles XII won major victories early in the Great Northern War, often highlighted as part of Sweden's peak as a Baltic great power. Turning point. Poltava. 1709 Sweden's invasion of Russia ended disastrously after the Battle of Poltava. The 8th of July, 1709, Gregorian, where Peter the Great's forces defeated the Swedish army, widely seen as a moment Sweden's great power era began to decline while Russia rose. End of an era. Charles' death in 1718 during the Norwegian campaign removed Sweden's central war leader and shaped the later phase of the war and Sweden's reduced position in Northern Europe. One-line summary. Charles XII was Sweden's last great warrior king, brilliant early on, but ultimately overwhelmed by the long Great Northern War, with Poltava, 1709, marking the decisive shift toward Russian dominance.
Margaret of Bourbon, Lady of Albret, 1344 to 1416. French, Marguerite de Bourbon, was a French noblewoman of the House of Bourbon who became Lady of Albret through marriage and was the mother of one of France's most important late medieval commanders. Quick facts. Born 1344. Died 1416. Parents, Peter I, Duke of Bourbon and Isabella of Valois. Spouse, M. the 30th of June, 1368 Arnaud Amanieu, Lord of Albret. Why she's historically important. Her marriage to Arnaud Amanieu was tied to a secret treaty involving Charles V of France, showing how dynastic marriages were used as high-level political strategy. She was the mother of Charles d'Albret, who became Constable of France, a top military office, and was killed at the Battle of Agincourt, 1415. Date note, your dates. You wrote 1344 to 1316. The commonly cited lifespan is 1344 to 1416.
Alexander the Great, 356 BC, 323 BC, was a king of Macedon who created one of the largest empires in the ancient world, conquering the Persian Empire and spreading Greek culture across a vast region, the start of the Hellenistic Age. Quick facts. Born 356 BC, Pella, Macedon. Father, Philip II of Macedon. Mother, Olympias. Became king 336 BC. Died 323 BC. Babylon. Major achievements, high level. Defeated Persia in decisive campaigns, including battles such as Issus, 333 BC, and Gaugamela, 331 BC, leading to collapse of Achaemenid Persian power. Founded or refounded many cities, most famously Alexandria in Egypt, helping Greek language and ideas spread widely. Pushed his conquest as far as the Indus Valley, but his army refused to go farther east at the Hyphasis, Bees River, 326 BC, prompting his return. After his death, Alexander died without a clear adult heir, and his generals, the Diadochi, fought for control. His empire fractured into major Hellenistic kingdoms, like the Ptolemies in Egypt and the Seleucids in much of Asia. If you want, I can write a short 5 to 6 line biography, simple, or a timeline of his conquests detailed.
Hurrem Sultan, circa 1505 to 1558, the chief consort and legal wife of Suleiman the Magnificent of the Ottoman Empire. Who she was. Name, Hurrem Sultan, known in Europe as Roxolana of Roxolana. Born, around 1505, often given as 1502 to 1506 in different sources, commonly linked to Rohatyn, in today's Ukraine. Died, the 15th of April, 1558, in Constantinople, Istanbul. Why she's historically important. She broke precedent by becoming Suleiman's favored consort and then his lawful wife, gaining unusual influence at court. She became a major figure in what historians often call the Sultanate of Women era of palace politics, when imperial women held notable power. She was a prominent patron of charitable and architectural works in Istanbul, endowments, complexes, baths, etc. Family legacy. She was the mother of several of Suleiman's children, including Selim II, who succeeded Suleiman as Sultan. If you want, I can format this as a short 3 to 4 sentence bio, for notes, or a timeline, birth, rise in the harem, marriage, death.
Henry VIII, 1491 to 1547, was King of England, 1509 to 1547. From the Tudor dynasty, famous for transforming England's religion and government during the English Reformation and for his 6 marriages. Key facts. Born the 28th of June, 1491. Became king, 1509. Died the 28th of January, 1547. Why is historically important? Break with Roman Church of England. After the Pope refused to annul his first marriage, Henry pushed a religious and political split from the Roman Catholic Church. The Act of Supremacy, 1534, recognized the English monarch as supreme head of the Church of England. 6 wives, Catherine of Aragon and Boleyn, Jane Seymour, and of Cleves, Catherine Howard, Catherine Parr. Children in succession. His 3 illegitimate children who survived the rule were Edward VI, Mary I, and Elizabeth I, in that order. If you want, I can give a short timeline, 1509-1547, with the big events in each marriage in order.
Isabella of Portugal, Duchess of Burgundy, 1397 to 1471, was a Portuguese infanta of the House of Arvaez who became one of the most influential women at the Burgundian court as the wife of Philip the Good. Quick facts. Born the 21st of February, 1397, Evora, Portugal. Parents: John I of Portugal and Philippa of Lancaster. Married: Philip the Good, Duke of Burgundy, married in Bruges, the 7th of January, 1430. Died the 17th of December, 1471, Aix-sur-l'Oise, Burgundian Netherlands. Why she's historically important. Duchess of Burgundy, 1430 to 1467 as Philip's consort, she helped anchor Burgundy's international prestige and diplomacy. Regent. She served as regent in the Burgundian Low Countries during Philip's absences, recorded notably in 1432 and again in 1441 to 1443. Mother of Charles the Bold. Their son Charles the Bold became the last Valois Duke of Burgundy, making Isabella a central figure in the dynasty's legacy. If you want, I can do a simple timeline, 1397-1430 regencies 1471, or a short note on Burgundy's role in Europe during her lifetime.
Cyrus the Great, c. 600 BC, 530 BC, was a founder of the Achaemenid Persian Empire, one of the largest empires the ancient world had yet seen. Quick facts. Reigned c. 559 to 530 BC. Died c. 530 to 529 BC. Dates vary slightly by source. Capital associated with him: Pasargadae. His tomb is there. What he did, why he matters. Unified and expanded Persia by overthrowing the Median Empire, then defeating Lydia in Anatolia and conquering Babylon, 539 BC, bringing much of the ancient Near East under Persian control. Built an empire that later stretched from the Aegean area toward the Indus, reaching its greatest size under later rulers like Darius. The Cyrus Cylinder, 539 to 538 BC. After taking Babylon, Cyrus issued a royal inscription now known as a Cyrus Cylinder. It's sometimes called a First Charter of Human Rights, but many historians in the British Museum frame it mainly as a traditional Mesopotamian royal legitimation text, a conquest and restoration proclamation. If you want, I can write a simple 6 to 8 line biography for notes, or a timeline, Media, Lydia, Babylon, Death.